Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is just going to be a first look, no demo. So I want to clear that up front. If you're expecting a demo, you won't get it here. I'll demo this guitar at another point. And this guitar being my new Squier Affinity that I got from Pro Audio Star for their Labor Day deal. This was $139.99. Normally $289.99. Sometimes you see them for $249.99. $139.99 was a ridiculously good deal, and I snagged it. So let's talk about the guitar, and then we'll get into a comparison. So this guitar is a Strat style guitar from Squier. The Affinity is the second to lowest line of guitars. It starts with the Bullet, goes to the Affinity, then we go to the Classic Vibe. There used to be guitars in between: the Deluxe model, the Standard model. Um, there was one other 70s model guitar. I forget the name of it. A Strat style guitar. Those are gone, and now they just have the Affinity and then the Classic Vibe. But they upped the game on the Affinities. They put the 2-point tremolo on here, upgraded the pickups, the ceramic pickups. The headstock has a gloss finish to it. Um, just some nice, enhanced appointments on the guitar, which always go well. But let's talk about the guitar, and I will do it head to head versus this. I'll move it over here so you can see. Badcat Polaris Strat. So, first off, the Squier Affinity has a poplar body, right? That's what the wood is. It's poplar wood on here. It also has a maple fretboard and a flat satin maple neck with the skunk stripe, as you can see. Apologize for going back and forth, but it's the only way I can do it. This particular model has a rosewood fretboard on it, right? Does have a little bit of a gloss on the headstock, and it does have a gloss on the back of the neck, whereas that is a completely satin finish. So if you're fans of gloss, you're going to get it on the Badcat. You're not going to get it on the Squier Affinity. This also has a skunk stripe. Okay? And the fretboard on here is rosewood as opposed to the fretboard on the Affinity. Now, the other difference between the Badcat is that you have a plastic nut on the Affinity. This is a bone nut on the Badcat. So you have an upgraded nut. Okay? So let's go back to here. This guy has 3 ceramic pickups, single coil pickups. They're on the hotter side. I like them a lot. They sound great in my opinion. Those have Alnico pickups, and they're more on the vintage side of the sound spectrum. So they're not as hot as these. They're not as loud as these. Depends upon your personal preference. Again, I like the pickups on the Squier Affinity. I really do. Much better than I like the pickups on the Bullet, the Squier Bullet. Pickguard on here is a triple ply black pickguard. You have a triple ply white pickguard on the Badcat. The neck profile. So that has what's described as a compound radius. Starts off at 9.5, flattens to 12. This just has a 9.5-inch radius neck. But the neck profile, this is a C, that's a C, is significantly more comfortable on this guitar. I prefer the neck on the Affinity than I do the Badcat. It's a thinner neck. I like the feel of the neck better. I like playing this better than I do that, which is interesting. I never thought that was going to be the case, but I do like the feel of the neck better. 21 frets on here, 22 frets on the Badcat. The tuners, pretty comparable. These have decent tuners, 18-to-1 gear ratio. I don't know what the tuners are on here. They're sealed tuners as well, but they're every bit as good as the tuners on the Badcat. So I would give that a wash, right, in terms of tuners. What else? Ordering process. Obviously, Pro Audio Star. Perfect to deal with, fast delivery, fast shipping, no issues, no hassles. I've returned guitars there, no problem. That I bought direct from Badcat. Probably going to be a problem at some point if I do need to ever return it, because they are a nightmare to deal with direct. A nightmare. There's no other way to describe it. You can't get a hold of them through email. They don't respond. There's no phone number to call. There's no chat that actively works. So getting through to these folks is nothing short of a nightmare. I would highly, highly recommend, again, buying Badcat through Amazon, because at least you have an out if you don't like the guitar or need to return it. Badcat themselves, if you get a good one, you're lucky. If you don't, you have a big problem on your hands. So, what else? Nines on here, guitar strings. That comes with nines in terms of the strings. What else do we have to talk about? I said that this is a poplar body. Body on there is mahogany. Weight of the guitar. This is slightly lighter. I haven't weighed them yet, but it's slightly lighter. I can tell by holding it than this guitar is. The mahogany body is heavier. I also don't like, I think I mentioned this before, the fact that they have solid black on the back and the sunburst on the front. I like a color, a consistent color throughout the guitar. I would have liked to seen sunburst on the back of the guitar, but again, that's a nit. Bridge. Okay, that's the other thing. The bridge on here is a 6-point bridge. Clearly a cheaper bridge than on the Stratocaster, the Affinity. The Affinity has a 2-point bridge, but it's made more solidly and cleaner than the bridge on this guitar. So I have to give the bridge to Squier. So on the whole, bodies are different, right? Summary. Bodies are different. The Badcat is mahogany. The Squier is poplar. I don't believe in me, at my advanced age, hearing any difference in wood between poplar and mahogany. So I'll give them an even rating there, right? Fretboard, I prefer maple on Strats. So that's just a personal preference. I prefer a maple fretboard. A lot of people prefer rosewood, so that might be even as well. I'm giving the edge to the maple because I like maple better. Neck, I like the neck on the Affinity better than I do the feel of the neck on the Badcat. So I'm giving the edge to the Affinity on my personal preference for a thinner neck, more comfortable neck. 21 frets on the Affinity, 22 frets on the Badcat. Depends upon what you like. I'm not a shredder. I don't need that extra fret, so it really doesn't mean anything to me. But if it does to you, you may like the Badcat better because it's got an extra fret. Pickups. Alnicos on the Badcat, vintage sounding pickups. These are hot ceramic pickups. More volume. Edgier. I like the sound of the pickups on the Squier Affinity better than I do on the Badcat. Again, it's a personal thing. If you're into that vintage vibe, lower volume, maybe a little bit more articulation, you may like the Badcat pickups better. It's a personal thing. Tuners, I'm giving them even. They both have decent tuners. I don't think you need to replace either one of them. If you're hell bent on putting locking tuners on, that's a different story. But both have decent stability on the tuning. The nut, bone nut on the Badcat, plastic nut on the Squier Strat. It's cut well. I don't have any issues with this nut. I'm not going to replace it. Again, if you're into bone or whatever, you can maybe give Badcat a higher rating. I don't know. Ordering process, Pro Audio Star is great, fast, no issues. That I bought directly through Badcat. So I always have the sort of Damocles hanging over my head if I need to return it because it's impossible to get through to them. So that's something I hope I don't have to deal with. But hardware, again, they both have the same Strat appointments, 1 volume, 2 tone in terms of the knobs, 5-way switch. The switch on here is flimsier than the switch on the Affinity. So it feels cheaper. There's absolutely no tension at all, almost, on the Badcat, whereas you do get resistance on the Affinity. So I'm thinking the 5-way is a little bit better on the Affinity than it is on the Badcat. But again, we'll see. Only time will tell. The input jacks are comparable. Overall finishing of the guitar, pretty comparable. They both do a pretty good job with that, I have to admit. Frets. This guitar came with a couple of sharp fret ends at the higher end of the gamut. This did as well. So that's pretty much a wash. If I had to give this thing a rating overall and I had to get rid of one of these, that guy would go before this guy, only because I like the maple fretboard. I like the feel of the neck on the Affinity better. And I also like the sound of the pickups better. So my vote would go to the Squier Affinity. Price-wise, they're pretty much a wash. This guy was $150 less $20 when I bought it on their website, which was $135 plus tax. This was $139 on sale plus tax. So pretty much a wash on the price. Both great values for Strats. Again, that's my personal preference. Again, everybody's got a different opinion on that. I hope this assessment was helpful to you if you're debating between these two models. I will come back with another video where I'll plug in the Squier Affinity and let you hear what it sounds like. But there are tons of videos with tons of players better than I am on YouTube that demo that guitar. So, any questions regarding these, put them in the comments below. If you find these videos useful and helpful, please subscribe. And until the next time, guys, be well and stay safe. Take care.